like what you guys used to do on the back of the tags. How you
The
guys used to
straw
put those
girls.
little messages and stuff.
I didn't even look to see if this one had one of those.
Who
I've never seen any other company do
Yeah, the
that
straw.
besides you guys.
whose idea was that, Arlo, to put the like destroy all girls and stuff like that on the tags?
Out of all the things it said.
I have a question too after this.
That was Brooks' idea.
Brooke Howard Smith.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, got on the news for it too, in trouble.
Did
Yeah, it was my idea.
I imagine shave your head, kill your parents?
No, that was originally what it said. That when I did the tag. So we mentioned art once, like with in the context of Senate, but I always viewed. I mean, I wasn't a production graphic artist. Like, it just so happened that at Senate, because I had some kind of a predisposition for art and I had a background in art, when it came time to do things like packaging, people would be like, "Hey, Arlo, time to do packaging." But like, I'm not just sitting there trying to do a hang tag or a wash label for a sweatshirt. So for me, everything was an opportunity to like for art, to try and do something different. Like, I'm always looking at like, what can I do with this? And so, you write all the instructions, don't iron, machine wash cold, whatever, tumble dry low. And I'm like, I'm gonna put something here at the end of the tag. No one ever reads these things. It's like, to me, it was like the coolest kind of like subversive art, like just sort of. But in order for that idea to work, it had to be like because the idea was the juxtaposition of this completely forgettable, unnoticed label inside of a shirt. But then you've got to have this most absurd, obnoxious, abrasive message. That was the idea. For me, that was the art. And so I put shave your head, kill your parents. It's what I had on it.
I never saw that one. Brady brought that one up, and I never saw that one.
Because we never made that, because my business partners wisely said, "Arlo, we can't do that." And I'm like, okay, but I wasn't giving up on the idea. So I'm trying to think, what can we put on there? And so I don't know if you guys know this, but I didn't come up with Destroy All Girls. That is a song lyric. There's a band called Scraping Fetus Off the Wheel, which is not like some band that I listened to, but one of my best friends in high school, he collected records, and Scraping Fetus Off the Wheel had really cool album art. I don't know if that's the only reason he bought the albums, but he had this Scraping Fetus Off the Wheel album. One of the songs, I forget what it's called. Maybe it's called Pig's Blood or something. I don't know. But one of the lyrics is Destroy All Girls. And so that kind of came to my mind. I'm like, okay. So I wrote that. And all the same people who thought that shave your head, kill your parents was a terrible idea, for whatever reason, they said, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And so that's what we did.
And that's the one that brought on the heat, right?
That brought on, it brought on the heat, but it also brought on the press. I mean, for us, when your whole attitude is to kind of just be like, countercultural or standoffish or whatever, punk, there's no such thing as bad press, especially if people are saying, oh, it's too controversial. That's kind of like that's what you're aiming for.
If you're trying to be antagonistic, for someone to actually,
And right. And if it's, if parents and businesses are going, oh, that's too whatever, that looks good for us. Cause it's like, okay, F you guys. Having said all that, I would not defend the statement "Destroy All Girls." I don't think it's cool. If I had it to do over again, or if I had it to do today, I wouldn't do that.
You couldn't do that
because you had a daughter.
nowadays.
Yeah, you also couldn't do it. But I recognize how hurtful it is. I don't think that it's a good look. So while I do think I will defend kind of the artistic intention of it, what I was trying to do, the juxtaposition, all that stuff. I'm not sitting here trying to make an argument or a case for that is a cool thing to say. I don't think that it was a cool thing to say.
You were just looking for something reckless at the time to surprise people.
Well, yes, but also I want to be careful not to totally misrepresent it, because it wasn't, to me, that would not really be it wouldn't be really very interesting or effective art to just try and go for the most shocking thing. Because I could have written on it like "fuck the police," or something like that. But it was coming from a real place. Again, I was a young man at that time, and for young people, like we have, our emotions run hot, and like we are real idealistic, and like everything feels important, and nothing feels more important than like love, or like the longing for companionship, or validation from the people that you want to think, or you want them to think that you are interesting or attractive or whatever. You want them to like you. And for young heterosexual guys, you want girls to like you. And the case more often than not is that they don't. And so that manifests itself in young people as like frustration. So especially at the time, like in punk music and in rap music, there's a lot of, misogynistic themes, and it's all comes from this place of something that you want so bad, but that you can't have. And so then it becomes kind of the object of your resentment. So I was kind of giving voice to that, honestly. It was a very, inelegant, offensive way of doing it, but it really was coming from kind of an authentic place. Again, don't mistake that for justifying it, but just to give a little more insight into the actual inspiration for it. It wasn't just a matter of saying, hey, what's the most controversial thing I can do? It really was, I was trying to give voice to something, however misguided.
I mean, would you feel offended if there was like, like a woman's clothing that was like bash all boys or something like that? Like, I wouldn't feel offended. I
But
think
that's
that's cool. I
different.
think that's like,
Yeah, but Sullivan, you have to remember, like, it's different being a guy than being a girl. You don't have to worry about going places and being bashed by girls.
Yeah.
Women, listen, I have a daughter. She learned very early that you can't make eye contact with people while you're driving your car, because that is a sign to guys that you're interested, and they will follow you, or they'll try to roll down their window. For women, it's uncomfortable. We don't give a second thought about going out for a run, in the morning or in the evening. Women have to sweat that stuff. They have to worry about it. It is very different being a woman than being a different man. So it's not equivalent. And
I'm learning day by day. Trust me, I'm learning
exactly.
day by day.
You've got a daughter, you've got a wife, so or I'm sure you're exposed to it.
Understandable.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's hard to look back on, like, and not to bring out too far, but like when I read it at the time, it was kind of like, super angsty, of course, but like the idea of girls. But I never really thought about it like being actually hurtful to a girl to read it, because they're not in on the joke.
Yeah.
They're not in on the what you're going for. Because to me, it's just kind of like this,
Silly.
like I said, an idea of it's really male insecurity, kind of.
100%.
And so, but I get that now. I just want to say I never really made that connection, though, of the difference.
Yeah. And that, Brady, that's 100% it. Like, we were in that, like, that was our audience. That was who we were. I never thought about women reading it and having an opinion on it. Right? And that is, that is a blind spot, or it was a blind spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tasha Hawkinson was on Senate, though, right? Did she have?
That's what I was going to say. But at the same time, but I've always been thoughtful about representation. Like, yes, we wanted to sponsor women writers, right? We had Tosh Hodgson.
Yeah.
So yes, that has at the same time also been something that we always thought about.